I'm Charlotte McLeod with Cannabis Investing News, and here today with me at the Canadian Investor Conference is marijuana activist Jodie Emery. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great. So could you start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and why you're at the conference today?
Yeah, I'm a marijuana activist, well known mostly for my husband, Mark Emery, called the Prince of Pot. I'm a business owner, so I have 28 employees in a store, in a lounge, with an online website and an online video network. But we don't sell marijuana. We're not a dispensary. We don't deal with that part of it at all. Just carrying on 20 years of my husband's activism business. And I do public speaking. I travel to different drug policy conferences and events to discuss marijuana legalization.
Okay, you're very busy. Okay, so as a longtime activist, what has your reaction been to the recent influx of companies in the medical marijuana space?
Well, it's very exciting because it means that the public and business and even politics, everybody's accepting that marijuana legalization is going to happen. There's also money to be made. So the excitement is great because it means we've won. We're going to have a legal industry at some point. The difficulty right now is working out all the details because there are so many different models for distribution and regulation, and there's all sorts of different people with different ideas. So we're going to see a lot of different back and forth and new ideas, but it's exciting because it does mean that that's progress. It doesn't mean that we're going backwards.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned in your panel today that companies are essentially entering a market that is already being served. So what can they do to kind of stand out a little bit?
I would say in order to stand out, companies need to offer really low, affordable prices because marijuana as a price commodity, it's just too expensive. Most people can't afford it, and that's why a lot of young people get into selling it so they can afford their own use. So we need to bring the price down, and I think the real leaders in the industry will be those who manage to get it at a very low price. They can reach a bigger audience, they can make more money that way, and they can set a standard that everyone else can follow in bringing the price down and undercutting the black market.
Okay, great. So you also touched on the many ways that people and companies can get involved in the medical marijuana space without actually being involved in specifically selling it. So what are some of those opportunities?
Well, when I look at a liquor store, I don't drink much myself, but when I go into a liquor store, I see advertising, I see labels on the bottles. That means there was an artist who was paid to design that label. There was someone paid to advertise. Even printing those labels, somebody got paid to put the ink on paper. So when you think about the marijuana industry, it really involves everything else related to it, from just even point of sale systems where you're ringing people through a till. So there's huge money to be made without even having to deal with marijuana. And as we've heard some people here say, even the son of Nancy Pelosi saying that they don't deal with marijuana itself, they're just dealing with the companies who do all of that, and there's still money to be made in their periphery.
Right, yeah, I think that's really interesting. So finally, legalized medical marijuana seems to be regarded as a precursor to sort of full legalization. So but how far away do you think we are still from that?
Well, it really depends in Canada on what government we've got. You know, with the Harper Conservatives, they're not going to allow for a legal industry. They're cracking down. More people are arrested for pot. But with the Liberal government, they've agreed to legalize it, and that's following public pressure, that's following science and evidence, and the U.S. example. Even countries abroad like Uruguay are legalizing it and looking at ways to do it. So here in Canada, it'll probably be 4 to 5 years before we get a legal industry that's really worth getting into. But until we shift it from just sick people to all adults, the profits that are being promised won't be made.